Manguli Show. We can edit all this out, so I'm not terribly concerned about this, but we are technically live now, so we're just waiting on the first people to say hi. What we're looking for... Okay, what I'm thinking is... last time we kind of got too lost in the weeds with talking to the audience. So what I'd love to do is still be able to talk to the audience, but maybe like, okay, we're going to talk about our top fives. You do your top five. You do your number five. I'll do my number five. And then like, we'll just ignore the audience. And then once we're both done our number fives,
troll the comments.
We'll look at the comments, see what people have to say, kind of react to that. And then that way I can just edit those parts out and it'll make my life so much easier.
Okay.
Also, you cannot see the comments currently, right?
I can see a micro version of the comments. I see our chat right now.
Okay.
Is that showing?
So
yeah. With your ninja link on the top.
Sorry, I just need to mute a channel that's going to be talking a lot for another hour or so.
Yep.
You not being able to see the comments is not the worst thing in the world. I'll read them out if there's anything interesting. Most
I
likely
will find that
Hefe
much
complaining
less
about
distracting.
us. Yeah,
bring it, Hefe. He's gonna love my list.
I'm actually more nervous about this list than I am about the rom-com one, because at least the rom-com one I was like, no, all of my rom-coms were rom-coms. All of my Disney movies are true. Disney movies. I'm not worried in that sense. I just feel like people are gonna have such an emotional connection to the Disney movies. Yes. And when I don't name their favorite one, it's gonna be an issue. There's one. How you doing, Vral? Vral is a very loyal supporter. I'm sure you are aware, you're here all the time. We're doing the movie show tonight. I am joined by my brother, Jonathan. We're just going real names on this show. So like, I'm Dan, you're Jonathan, Run7 is Brian.
Boring.
Just outing you. Just, well, I'm sure people will be calling you John Cooley, but I'm just curious if you go old school or new school. Elder Jim has been very excited for this movie channel, which is fantastic. Very excited about that. Oh, shoot. I was going to do... Oh, I don't know if that's going to work. Well, we'll worry about that another time. Theoretically, I'm streaming to a bunch of places. I want to be streaming to Instagram as well. Not because I think I'm going to get a ton of followers, but just like for this curiosity of trying it. But I feel like you have to set it up differently every single time you go live, and I just don't want to bother with that right now. Vral, I have no connection to Disney movies. You can say whatever you want. Well, thank you, Vral. I appreciate that. Vral coming to us from England, I believe. I know you're in Europe. I'm pretty confident it's England.
They have Disney movies over there.
Well, not that he's watched. Is there... before we get started, we'll just give everybody a couple minutes to show up, because we did start right on time, so give people a few minutes if anyone is showing up. From England, it's 2 a.m. Gross.
Wow, he loves you.
I love the dedication. He's here all the time. Buddy doesn't sleep. It's ridiculous. I'll be here at like 8 in the morning on a Saturday, and he's there. I'll be there at like 9 o'clock on a Thursday. He's here. Love that dude. Somebody tried to convince me he was a bot. I'm like, if he's a bot, he's passed the Turing test, so we're good. Did you rewatch anything for this list?
I rewatched portions, because to rewatch all the Disney movies would be like 700 hours. So
yeah, for sure. We talked about this like months ago, so we had lots of time, but that does not mean I fully prepared. Welcome to the Manguli Show.
Yeah. They're not new here.
No. I did... So me and Charlie have had some cuddles recently watching some... I was going to say new movies. New to her movies, but really old ones. Just ones that I'd like... I know that I've seen the Great Mouse Detectives, but I have no recollection of the Great Mouse Detectives. The only one that I really wanted to get around to seeing again, and I didn't get a chance to, was Black Cauldron. And I say seeing again, what I actually mean is I've never seen Black Cauldron. And I was curious to see it for this list. We can
talk about that one. Do you want to talk about it right now?
Oh, I'm assuming it's not top 5.
Up on my list. That movie could burn in hell.
In my brain, I equate Black Cauldron kind of with Dark Crystal.
The demonic?
That. I don't know how accurate that actually is, but that's kind of where I put it, in that like nightmare fuel for kids. Secret of NIMH territory.
Pure nightmare. It is much darker than any of those. I saw Black Cauldron in the theater. I think just me and Mom went. And so I was looking at the release date. I would have been like 9 or something.
I was just about to say, I think it's pretty,
it's mid-80s.
We're not young, but it's that? Yeah. I thought it was like 70s. Okay, never mind.
No, it's mid 80s. So I won a bottle of wine and a bet about that once. Uh, yeah, that was horrific.
What now, was mom like escorting you out of
There's
the
like,
theater, or just like that was good?
no, we paid good money. There was free popcorn. Yeah, it was paid for. Yeah,
Yep,
well, we
that
watched the
sounds very
whole
much like mom.
thing.
I
And then I
don't
didn't sleep for like 12 years. Yeah.
I don't want to say mom's a bad influence, but like I feel like she's never walked out of a movie, whereas I know for a fact dad would. She'd be like, nope, we're done here, gone.
We were out. We were having an outing.
Yep.
You don't abandon an outing.
Mom
I
does
love
like
the
her
theater.
quality
I
time.
would leave. I've never left a theater either. For that matter.
I've left a theater once, and it was because dad was like, we're done here. And that's the
Yeah.
only time. I don't often like I find it very hard to turn off a movie once I've started it. Or a book or a game. Like generally speaking, if I start
Yeah.
something, I try to finish it. Now,
Unless I'm channel flipping, I almost.
well, I
always
don't
get
count that
sucked
quite the
into
same way.
Yeah. But if
I mean, like if I put a movie in, or if I rent a movie, Netflix,
Yeah.
anything like that. Now, the difference would
Mhm.
be if I tell myself, oh, I need to go do something, I'll come back to this. I might not come back to it,
Yeah.
but
If
I
you
have the
intend to watch
intention
it,
to come
that
back
won't
to it.
happen.
It's the I am done with this. I am never putting this back on. I think I've done one time that I can remember. I'm just like, F it, I quit. And
Yeah.
one more time that I wanted to, but it was an Oscar movie, so I had to push myself through it. But yeah, the only one that I ever like 100% just
Self-constraint
walked
constraint.
away from was Miami Vice,
The
with
movie.
the movie with two people who I'm
Yeah.
completely
The
blanking on.
2001. Is it?
Yep.
Who's
Jamie
the
Foxx and Bullseye.
Is it the Green Hat guy? Green Hornet guy?
No. Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx. I knew I'd get there.
There you go.
It was just incomprehensible what was going on and not worth the effort of trying. And I'm like, I've got stuff to do. Vral's checking out the wiki list for Disney animated movies to see if he even knows any of them. Well, hopefully you know these ones at very least.
Or at
But we
least
shall
some of
see.
them. We would recommend about 10 of these movies.
Okay, now out of curiosity, prediction wise, what do you think? Do you think there's going to be a lot of overlap on our lists?
I think there will be some. I'm going to predict one or two.
Okay. I was thinking roughly the same.
Leaning towards two.
Now, obviously, both parents, you've got
Mhm.
significantly more experience in that department than I do. But it'll be interesting to see if, because I could see you leaning more to your childhood. Right?
Yes.
Now, I'm not
Yeah.
necessarily saying anything, but like, there's also a world where you're like, no, I watch this with my kids, and that's more important to me than me watching something in my own
Mhm.
childhood. So I'm really curious where you go with this list.
I would say one of these is very modern.
Okay.
And I would say my kids' top 5 would have a significant overlap. Probably. I would guess they would have more like 3 or 4. But there's still a few surprises in there, I think. So.
You're still just seeing me and you, right? You're not seeing my screen at all right now?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah. And we're still in the pre-editing bit.
I mean, we're technically live.
But
People
also
are
on
talking
the
to us.
air.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
No disrespect.
Vral has seen Mary Poppins Returns and Finding Nemo. I don't know if is Finding Nemo.
Neither
I
of
thought that was a
those
Pixar.
are eligible for
I was
the
gonna
list.
say I don't think either of those count. But congratulations, both Disney movies, sort of.
Yeah.
Disney adjacent.
Pixar would be its own top 5 list, but I worked on that today when I was supposed to be working on this.
Well, I mean, we can definitely save Pixar for its own top 5 too. Like that's definitely.
I think we should do a grown-up list in between because I got to rewatch something with some,
100%. I'm picturing. Okay, so how I'm planning on this working is once we get started, we'll do again like your number 5, my number 5, talk to the audience. Your number 4, my number 4, talk to the audience, and kind of go that way through it. What I'm trying to incorporate is I have, because it's not animated, Mary Poppins is a live action movie.
Correct. Yeah, so we should talk about the
that-
scope of the list at some point.
We'll get there, but we'll just sort of let
Mhm.
people show up and
Sure.
get started when we get started.
Do this thing.
So the other thing is, part of what I'm trying to do with this channel is I've done a movie trivia game show a couple of times, but I'm not finding people who are wanting to come back for it. So I've done it 3 times, and I'm struggling to find other people. So I figured, since I've got Brian/Run7 on twice a month, you on once a month, that leaves me with one Thursday a month where I don't have anybody. So I might just do like me hanging out with the audience and just do trivia with the audience.
Nice.
But on top of that, what I'm running is actually a leaderboard, a contest, a championship, whatever you want to call it, starting last week and running up until my anniversary bash, which is October. That's my birthday and my anniversary of starting a YouTube channel, because they just happen to be back-to-back days, ironically. So for that, whatever, 4 months that we have left, 5 months we have left, I'm going to be doing every time I do the show, every Thursday, I'm going to be doing trivia questions with the audience randomly throughout the show. If you get the question, if you're the first person to answer, you're going to get 5 points. If you're the second person to answer, you're going to get 2 points. And if you're subscribed to my channel, I will keep those scores until October. And then whoever is in first place is going to get a prize, second place a prize, and third place a prize. Currently, I'm looking at that being something like $100 for first, 50 for second, and 25 for third. But then obviously, if this does well and things happen and takes off and whatnot, that number can get bumped up. But that's kind of like my minimum number. So 3 points at least during this episode. I'm just going to start asking the audience a question. Don't answer, Jonathan. Even if you know the answer, you cannot win. And then
Ooh.
I'll write those down for the winners or the people who scored, and we'll go from there. So, we'll do the list. We'll talk to the audience. We'll have some questions. And at the very end or close to the end, I'm picturing putting up a poll for like 3 or 4 options for what the next top 5 will. And that'll give us an entire month to figure out our list.
Yeah. What's on
That
the
work for you?
poll?
I mean, we can discuss that. One of the ones that somebody suggested was top 5 movies you've rewatched, which I think would be very interesting, but I feel like the two of us will have a very overlapping list if we do that. That'd be a better one for me to do with somebody else.
We've lived apart for 30 years, dude.
True, but when did you watch the same movies the most? Now when you've got Netflix and Amazon, or back in high school when you had a VCR and 7 movies? Because I know what my list is.
Yeah, there's that.
Ouija showing up. How you doing, Ouija? So yeah, I've seen about 7 movies in the last 25 years on that list. Wow.
Did you post the Disney list again? You had that
I didn't post the Disney list ever.
Cool graphic.
Oh, the one that I sent you like a month ago? No.
Yeah.
Adult movies don't count from your early ages. I'm not really sure what that even means, Green Tuckin, but it doesn't sound good. Yeah, Elder Jim, there are definitely parts of the movie that are animated. But we're going full animation on this one.
Are we still on Mary Poppins?
Apparently. I'm just getting caught up with chat.
Move on.
That's fine.
There's a wiki. It's specific. Mary Poppins was not on it.
Yeah. Vral just sent me something on Discord. I believe he's sending me his list of Disney movies. List of Disney theatrical animated films.
Theatrical. That sounds like that might be the right list. I've even seen that graphic, so I think we're in the right neighborhood. Yeah.
Oh, you can see that?
I can.
Okay.
It was a little hat.
Where? Yeah, it was. Well, it was a gigantic hat actually on top of a building.
Ah, there we go.
All right, I'm gonna grab.
Grab that.
This.
That's what I'm talking about.
Copy image. I'll go to my movie channel on Discord. Boop, and I'll post it there so everyone can see. So I think this is roughly the list we're looking at. Watch, I say this. Actually, this one's not up to date because there's definitely movies after Strange World.
I'm trying to make sure mine are on here.
Wouldn't that be funny? Here's the list we're going with, guys.
Yeah.
Nope.
This is the only list we're allowed to use.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep. I'm good.
Oh yeah, all 5 of mine are on there. Beauty.
Lucky. Can we talk about trash movies that shouldn't be on our list? Or is that too soon? We got to do something. Honorable mentions.
Good evening.
What'd you put in the poll?
What's up, Bubba Hotep?
Poll. Hey.
Did you hear that by any way, just out of curiosity?
I heard you.
Okay, cool. So Bubba Hotep just cheered, and when he cheered, it makes a little fart noise because I'm 7 inside, and he actually said good evening. So if
Good
you can't
evening.
hear that, I will read those out to you as best I can, and assuming they're appropriate. But
You don't
chat
have
can
to
hear.
make the cheer noise.
All right. I can do the intro after this is done. We don't have to do that live. I mean, or I could just do it now because why not? And then we can jump in and get started. Does that sound okay to you? Are you about ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
All right.
Born ready.
I'm working. We're still not photoshopping.
I thought you had a song.
Shut up. What is it like when you're trying to you're spitballing ideas? Workshopping. We're still workshopping, like brainstorming ideas for the show. So normally it's obviously welcome to the Mongoolie Show, and I guess technically the Mongoolie Show logo is in the bottom there, so we can go with that.
Correct.
All right. I'm gonna go to single camera, do the intro, and then I'll jump to us, and we can do our top 5. So be ready with your number 5, okay?
I'm ready with my number 5.
All right, cool. Good. Be great if I had a spiel ready for this, but whatever.
We're talking about criteria, though, right? At some point.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would have thought it would be easier, though. I don't know why people are getting confused what the criteria is, but we'll definitely touch on that.
Well, now you put up a graphic of the criteria, so that's pretty simple.
I can do that in post. I'm not going to worry about doing that in Discord Live. That's ridiculous. Wasn't ready for that one.
Oh, I thought it was up. They can't see that?
No, that's you.
All right.
Right now, they are just seeing me with the logo, if everything is working properly.
Cool.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mongoolie Show. Tonight, I'm joined by my brother for our top 5 Disney animated movies. Now, for this, no. Well, because I can actually cut to you pretty easily if my hand was in the right place, but I completely forgot that that's an option.
So I should look more ready?
You should look semi-ready. I mean, as ready as you can possibly look. I know it's tough for you. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mongoolie Show. Today, I'm joined by my brother, Jonathan, and we're going to go over our top 5 Disney animated movies. Jonathan, how are you doing tonight?
Great. Ready to go.
Fantastic. Now, for this list, we are not including Pixar movies or live-action movies with animated elements in them like Mary Poppins. Honestly, I don't think Mary Poppins would make my list. Well, it definitely would not make my list anyways, but just for the record, that's what we're going with. They have to be Disney movies. They have to be fully animated. There is a huge list to choose from, so that's what we're going to go with. We're going to go back and forth. Jonathan will give you his number 5. I'll give you my number 5, and then we'll go 4, 3, 2, 1, and then discuss our entire list when we're done. Jonathan, do you want to start us off with your number 5?
Sure. I will say number 5 was the hardest for me. I felt like there was a lot of movies could fit in this place. I kind of got my number 1 to 4 really quick, and then I really struggled with what to put in there. And we're talking Disney movies, so there's like 20 honorable mentions. We won't even get into that.
We might touch on that later.
That's right. But for my number 5, I finally settled on Moana, which is a newer release, obviously 2016, with a lot of lyrics by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who I really enjoy, and I found a lot of entertaining content with particularly Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and I just thought it was a good, fun movie all the way around. It's one I actually had very low expectations of going in, did not expect to enjoy it, and then my kids have helped me to rewatch it a number of times. I've just found it really holds up to the rewatch, and yeah, it was a pleasant surprise.
Nice. Now, I was looking into Moana, and I thought the exact same thing. I thought the music was, at least in part, done by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I could not find that anywhere. And I was really surprised by that.
He's not credited as a writer anywhere, but if you go into the soundtracks and the songs, he's credited in the lyrics of the songs.
Okay. Because that makes sense, because I swear I'd heard that. And when I was looking it up and it wasn't true, I was like, oh, that's super
I was like,
weird.
better bite my tongue on that before I look like an idiot and somebody on the internet makes fun of me.
Oh, don't worry, that's coming regardless.
And then I watched at the end of the trailer, it actually referenced Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I'm like, oh, okay, well then I'm good.
Yeah.
And then I did a little more digging and found it.
Because I know Encanto is Lin-Manuel Miranda, so I thought I was getting confused or something, and I was like, I swear
I had that thought at one point. Yeah. My brain, I was worried, was playing little tricks on me.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. For my number 5, I actually am going to go back a little bit further than you, but not super far back. This is a great one from my childhood. This is 1992's Aladdin. Now,
Okay.
this one has a special place in my heart because obviously this would be, I would have been about 10 or so when this came out. This came out November 25th, 1992. I remember seeing this in theater during Mum's Let's Go to the States while it's really cheap and watch a movie because it's like $2 phase. I
Mhm.
would bet money we actually saw it in the theaters probably twice. But this one holds up so incredibly well. Forget, like, I meant to look up exactly because the budget for this one's actually pretty low at only $28 million. It's the lowest budget by far of any of the
Yeah.
movies on my list. And I was super curious. I forgot to look it up, but I wanted to see how much of that budget was Robin Williams' salary. Because if the live action one taught us anything, it's that nobody can take Robin Williams' place. So, like, whatever
Mhm.
they paid him, it was worth every single penny.
Yeah,
Uh,
and that movie made a ton of money.
Yeah.
On that $28 million budget, they went to $500 million.
Nice. You did do your research. Good for
I
you.
did a little.
Well
Yeah.
done. Well done.
For your list.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it won't show up on yours at all. I remember getting this and Jurassic Park on VHS for my birthday, probably in 93. That would make sense, right?
Yep.
Yep. And just being like, oh my goodness. Because, like, we didn't have a whole lot of VHSs at that time. So getting, like, 2 new additions to that collection was just incredible.
And 2 pretty good rewatchers. Yeah.
Oh, very.
Yeah.
Very much.
So I'm a little older than you. I remember seeing Aladdin at the drive-in theater the year it came out. And then the year later, I remember watching it on VHS with my girlfriend, my first girlfriend. So it was a different era for each of us. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I watched it with my mom. You watched it with your girlfriend. We both saw it with women. That's all that matters.
That's right.
Shut up, audience.
That's right. Well, it was just playing I Could Show You the World for Mother's Day, too.
Nice. Now, most of the movies on my list, including this one, were credited with 2 different directors. So this was done by Ron Clements and John Musker, and they're one that's going to show up on this list a couple of times. So be on the lookout for those ones.
Interesting. Also, Moana. Same 2 guys, Clements and McCusker.
All right, fine. Just give it away. I guess that makes sense. You talked about it. Fair enough.
I talked about Moana. Maybe we'll have more overlap than I thought.
We'll see. It'd be interesting. I kind of don't want us to, but at the same time, if we do, so be it.
Yeah, well, these are honest ones because we're pretty diverged at this point.
It would be hard pressed. I mean, as I said before we got rolling, I'm a little bit nervous that people are going to be upset with my list because these movies are so attached to their childhoods, right? So, like, I'm expecting people to have strong feelings toward these movies, and if we don't pick their favorite, then so be it. But
there's going to be some wanker out there watching Fantasia still.
Just going hot. I like it. I like it. All right. So we'll call that our number 5. We can talk to the audience a little bit, and then we'll move on to the number 4. I'm going to do a trivia
Very
question real
but
quick.
I can't answer.
You should not answer this. I mean, you can get it in your head.
I know the answer without being told.
Well, you might even be able to see my screen, so I feel like that's super cheating.
That would be cheating, wouldn't it?
Right? All right. So this is for the audience. That was my number 1. I'm out. Well, you can still watch and enjoy. You got 4 more. This is for the audience. First person to answer correctly is going to get 5 points. Second place is going to get 2 points. And we'll stay on brand with Disney. Although this is technically classic literature, but whatever. It's Disney. It's all Disney. What is the name of the Hunchback of Notre Dame? Spelling doesn't count as long as I know where you're going for with it. All right. Vral said he's seen bits of Aladdin. He's trying to keep up. And there we go. Double gold with first and Vral with second. And I mean, both of them have it pretty much spelled perfectly for what I've got written down. So well done, gentlemen. Now, you can just play for fun tonight. That's totally fine. But if you want those to count towards the prize in October, you do have to be subscribed by, I'm going to say tomorrow. So you got some time. No worries about that. And if not, that's totally fine too. Just play for fun and hang out. I'm just saying it over and over again so people know, because this is a fairly new thing. I'm not trying to like pressure or push or anything. 00 got 5 and Vral for 2. Green Tuckin's hanging out with some popcorn. Love it. Double O Gold saying it's his first one. Double O Gold also saying Jermaine Clement is great, who I believe was Aladdin. Is that right? I have it written down somewhere.
And Moana. What? Oh, yes. Sorry.
Two separate sentences.
Two separate sentences.
No, he was in Moana. My bad. Too far back. Too far back.
Yeah.
Also worth noting, Gilbert Godfrey. I mean, both of the comedic talents in this one are unfortunately no longer with us, but both do a phenomenal job. And I feel like Gilbert Godfrey gets overshadowed by Robin Williams. But if Robin Williams wasn't in this movie, I feel like Gilbert Godfrey would be what people talk about a lot. I think he does a phenomenal job as Iago and is just amazing.
Yeah. If I was going to talk about Aladdin, I would have talked about both those comedians.
That's fair. That's fair.
Also, you got to notice both those comedians keeping it G-rated is phenomenal.
Well, I mean, it's
either of them, really.
I am certain there are outtakes that are not G-rated. Let's just say that and leave it as such. Yeah. It's nice to do editing for things like that, right? Like,
yeah.
They recorded I'm assuming they would have recorded those voices first. No, they would have had to. Never mind. Duh. They record the voices first and then have to draw around it because there's no way Robin Williams is sticking to script. And there's no way that he's going to drop an F-bomb and they're just going to, yeah, we'll draw that in. Why not? That's only a couple $100,000 of dollars in time.
Draw it in, but it'd be in the smoke or.
Oh, that's fair. I didn't even think of bringing up those things. I totally
Easter
forgot
eggs,
about that.
Baby. Yeah.
I can remember. I can remember. No. Okay, I was picturing like you had your friends over, a bunch of your friends, and I had one friend over, and somebody mentioned like that one scene where like if you turn the volume up at this one scene, he says, "Take off your clothes," and like your friends were like, "Let's check it out," and they like watch the scene like once, and they're like, "Oh, that kind of does sound like that," and my friend rewound it like 19 times, and they're just like, "Okay, dude, time to move on. Let's go." And even I'm just like, "Yeah, dude, like we've heard it." And he's like, "No, that's so cool. What the like they tried to get away with that." We're like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
Moving on. I mean, famously, a lot of these Disney movies have something snuck in there by the animators, but who knows how much of it's actually real? I mean, the Little Mermaid one's pretty darn real. I don't know if you've.
I have to scan my brain now.
It's on the original box art of the. If you Google it, you'll see it. Don't do it with kids around.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to do your number 4?
Well, my number 4 is Aladdin.
Hey, I figured it was coming somewhere.
Do you know how much it made? I had number 4 was Aladdin. We have talked about everything I had to talk about Aladdin. Boom.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Really enjoyed that one.
Okay. So kind of like your number 5, my number 4 is also a newer one, not quite as new. I thoroughly enjoy 2010's Tangled. Now, this is the story of Rapunzel, obviously. You got some facts on this one too, do you?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Yay! Not a crossover.
I'm just very impressed. Yeah.
I'm just very impressed, and let me tell you how much it made.
Yeah, exactly. No, that was my 5-6. That was one of my 5-6 struggles right there. Yeah.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
You were saying that you got to like 4.
This one.
Yeah, you were saying you got to like 4, and then it was hard for you to get number 5. I instantly had 7, and I was like, all right, which 2 do I not do not make the list? And that was a little bit of a struggle. And even my top 5 is a little bit liquid. Like I feel like number 1 and 2 could switch, and like 3, 4, and 5 could all rotate depending on the day.
Yeah,
like they're pretty solid top 5, but they're movable. Anyways,
there's definitely.
Nope. Okay. This one came out on November 24th, 2010, directed by Nathan Guarino and Byron Howard. This one, like, the budget skyrockets. Granted, it's like 18 years later, but we went from $28 million for Aladdin, also, different kind of animation style, to $260 million. That's an insane amount of money for forever, but for 14 years ago, especially for an animated film. It did well, but because the budget was so high, it didn't do as well as Aladdin. So even though it technically made more money at almost just shy of $600 million, $592 million, because that budget is literally half of that, and I'm assuming that budget does include the marketing and all that stuff. I'm hoping the market wasn't on top of that. Like, they only doubled their money, whereas some of the movies on my list they like quadrupled or even like
Right.
significantly more so their money. English.
Well, Aladdin is 20 times.
Jeez, that is a nice
yeah.
payday.
That's a crazy number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad nobody's getting paid scale on that one.
Well, they made like 70 direct-to-video sequels, so
That's true. True. Not all with the same cast though, but yeah.
no.
Yeah, you were mentioning this one's insanely rewatchable. Like this is one that I have seen so many times.
Yes.
I feel like
It's so much fun. It's
Yeah.
so much fun, and you can pilot like helicopter in and see any 10 minutes, and it's entertaining and enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah. Mandy Moore does a really good job. Zachary Levi is fantastic in this one. I didn't check out who was the horse. I'm assuming that was an actual person because that's what they like to do. I'm going to just jump in and say it was Alan Tudyk, even though it probably wasn't because he seems to animate everything.
His name pops up a bit. Yeah.
Right? But like the horse Maximus, the Flynn Rider, like it's got a great cast. It's so funny. It's very rewatchable. And the only issue with this one is the music is very catchy. The music's very catchy, but the song Mother Knows Best is such an earworm, and my wife legitimately hates it. And not in a like, oh, I don't like that song kind of a way, but in like these are like weird PTSD flashbacks, and I need you to stop singing it because you're legitimately upsetting me. And it's like, okay, got it.
Try not to sing it.
Like, well, and I'll get that. I understand. I'm on board. But like, good luck telling that to my 6-year-old who's just running around the house thinking she's complimenting her mother by saying "Mommy knows best," and she's like gritting her teeth so hard it hurts. Yeah, exactly. I'm actually nervous now that we're talking about it, that I'm going to be singing it tonight as we're laying in bed. Just get swatted. But yeah, no, I think it's just an absolutely phenomenal movie. I think it's so much fun. The stupid frying pan, the horse with the frying pan, like it just it makes no sense. But of course, it's Disney.
Lots of good visual gags. Yeah, I find this one. I don't even think about the songs when I think about this one. Like Moana, a lot of the strength, a lot of the comedy is in the songs, in the lyrics. Lin-Manuel's touch, and in this one, I find it's a lot of the sight gags and the banter. There's a lot of banter between. I was gonna say prince and princess, the rogue and princess.
Yeah, no, it's true. I know that there's a song they sing in the bar.
Yeah, I
couldn't for the life of you give you the tune. Like Mother Knows Best is the only one that sticks with me personally, at least. Right. I know there's one in the bar. There's probably one with the parents, with the candles going off into space. I guess there's the one at her being bored at the very beginning when she's just like, oh, I'm going to do this for the 900th time. Right. But like, yeah, just none of them quite hit like Mother Knows Best.
Yeah. The one in the bar is a lot of fun. I can't get it in my head either, but I know there's a lot of good comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a dream.
Yes.
I had a dream. He's got a dream. I've got a dream. I want more money. That's not a dream. Your dream sucks. Go back to her dream.
That's right. That's all her dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, okay. Green Tuckin's calling them annoying. I think he's talking about Gilbert Godfrey back then. Frank Welfare, voice of Abu. Jim Cummings is Razul. Aldo Jim agrees with this choice, says it's a good one. Good old Homer Simpson in the second one. Double Gold's talking about how Robin Williams, they did the Aladdin 2 and 3, but of course they didn't bring Robin Williams back for number 2, probably because he wanted too much money or they just thought they could do it without him.
He's in one of the
They brought him back for number 3.
There we go.
Which I think
probably because it sucked without him.
I think it's Return of Jafar is the third one with him in it. I didn't look that up. Or is it the Prince one where he finds his dad? The one with
the father, yeah.
Okay.
I think it goes the other way around. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Double O Gold is agreeing. Prince of Thieves. Yeah. Which I saw semi recently, like when my kids were young. They are young. And it was like, this isn't very good. But I remember watching at the time and really enjoying. Like when it first came out on VHS. But anyways, didn't make my list. Straight to DVD.
Yeah. Not eligible for the list.
Fair enough.
Very good.
All right. All I remember is that it had Robin Williams lines. The only thing I really remember from the movie is at one point, I guess it's, yeah, it is Prince of Thieves for sure, because they catch the dad and Robin Williams turns into a SWAT officer and just like creates like 100 of himself surrounding him. It's like, stop or we will shoot ourselves. That's all I got. I couldn't tell you the plot or anything other than like Aladdin finds his dad and Robin Williams is in it.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I saw that one once, so
that's probably the extent of what you need.
Yeah.
What?
Would have been like 17 when it came out, so
yeah, that checks out. You know what? Honestly, maybe even older.
I might have been older. Yeah. So
because you would have been.
I don't know when I saw it.
92. You would have been 15 when the original came out.
Yeah.
And I doubt they came out 1 year after the other. They probably had 2 years in between.
It was probably a bit. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. You were saying something about your oldest kids, like they rewatched it or something?
Oh, I was saying that might have been when I finally saw it. I might have just seen it when my oldest kids were young.
Gotcha.
And then realized I didn't need to rewatch it with my younger kids.
I love you, kids. I'm bored. Goodbye.
Yeah. You're welcome. I'm not saying you can't watch it. I'm saying Daddy can't be here.
I'm saying I either need to leave or take a nap. You do you. Enjoy.
Oh.
All right. What do you have for number 3?
I have for number 3. This is my small spoiler, classicest Disney, I think.
Okay.
This is Cinderella from 1950.
Wow.
Very early on. Yeah, they're sorry, so much to say.
Out of curiosity, what did animation cost in 1950?
This has a $2.2 million budget, apparently.
Wow.
And made $182 million.
That's a nice return on investment. Holy cow!
Which is like $565 million adjusted for inflation.
Wow. I was gonna say, like, I wonder if that's adjusted for inflation, what the $2 million actually turns into and whatnot. Like, that's an impressive return.
Yeah.
1950, Snow White was like 38 or something.
37, I think.
37. Okay.
Yeah, I think we start in 37. So this is, what is that?
13 years later. Wow.
Yeah. And I'm just looking at your little graphic here, trying to make out. I think it's number 8 or 10, somewhere in there, somewhere about there.
Yeah, but a lot of these first ones
shorts
don't look like full movies for sure.
Yeah. There's the Calabregas one. Or
it's number 12 on this list. Yeah, assuming this list is accurate. But I mean, I think
realistically,
3 of them
for
are
features,
real movies.
You're looking at Snow White, Pinocchio, Bambi,
Fantasia. I will give Dumbo. Negative.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's supposed to, but it is Dumbo, number 4.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they're relatively still early days. One of the writers on this was Bill Peet. Who's one of my favorite children's authors. He's written like
I didn't know.
I don't even know 50 books. Yeah. And
I still read Hermit the Kermit on a regular basis.
Nice. Yeah. I started buying them for my kids, and then I kind of quit and gave up. But when Amazon first was starting, like in the late 90s, I think early 2000, I started buying those, found them on there, and started buying them. He was involved in a bunch of Disney stuff. He was involved at Disney for almost 30 years. He left in 64. And he actually designed. He was having some beef, I guess, with Walt himself, and designed Captain Hook to look like a caricature of Walt Disney, and then kind of let the cat out of his bag in his memoir, like 20 years after he left. So yeah, he was involved in right from Snow White as an animator, but he's got a writing credit from Pinocchio through to Jungle Book, which is actually after he's left. So yeah, you can check out some of his other stuff. Also, a couple of fun facts I found. One of the voices of the Wicked Stepsisters, Anastasia, Her name was Lucille Bliss, and she becomes the voice of Smurfette through the entire animated TV series. She also was involved in the animated Ewoks series
Okay.
in the 80s, and she was also involved in the early 1978 animated Lord of the Rings. So she's kind of crossed over some pretty big
Yeah, I'd say.
franchises there. Yeah. There's also an actor involved here, the voice of the mice, Gus and
Yeah.
Jacques.
Yep.
Is
Happy birthday.
exactly James McDonald, and he did a bunch of Pluto voices, and he's credited in all these Pluto shorts, or credited as the Disney Bear.
Yep.
He's in a bunch of shorts with Donald Duck. I think he does a gator roar in a couple of Disney shorts. So I'm wondering if it's kind of like a Wilhelm scream sort of thing, where his growl roar sort of sound is being used over and over, or if they're bringing him in for all this stuff. I don't know. But I thought that was really interesting. He was showing up everywhere. I think
it's funny you said that, because I think I saw it in a different movie. Cinderella is definitely not on my list. An actor with the credit of like Bear Roar or something, and I was like, that's weird, but okay.
Yep.
But that makes sense now.
Made me curious, so now I want to look into that a little further. But
interesting. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, just some fun facts.
Nice.
Your number 3, sir.
Well, I want to touch on this one because this one is significantly older. And if I don't know how to, there's not a polite way to word it, so I just won't. But
old.
No, not where I was going. One of the more classic Disney princess-ish titles. So what's your emotional connection to this one? Why is this one hit number 3 on your list?
Okay, so well, it could be anywhere in my top 5, to be honest. I felt, well, I mean,
but is this one that's yours, or is this like, oh, I watched it with my kids a lot? Because you've got a lot of daughters.
I've definitely watched it with my kids a lot. It's definitely my favorite, I think, favorite of the classic old Disney princess movies, like the pre-80s for sure, Disney princess movies. And I think it's just, it's not as fun as some of the ones on my list, although the mice bring a lot of comedy. Yep. I think a lot of the older Disney movies really went into they were using these old classic stories, like Cinderella is from like the 1600s. Some French author wrote it in the 1600s.
Okay.
And so they're using these old stories. They're using this really a lot of the older stuff. The features were using a lot of this really classical music, like classically trained soprano singers, and it's like a little hard to listen to the modern ear,
for sure.
And there's a little bit of that seeps into Cinderella. Partly I thought just representing a good breadth of the Disney canon, and Cinderella was definitely one of my favorites for that. So and like you say, partly probably I think it would be my choice to rewatch with my girls, so it's part of the reason that it was a family favorite as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a fun story. It's got the I don't know if you remember Sunday Night Disney.
Yep.
TV. Sure you would.
I remember it in theory more so than in practice. Yes.
Okay, they took clips from Cinderella everywhere, and so in my brain it's kind of like the quintessential Disney movie, from the Princess Castle to the logo to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo with the fairy godmother and the coach, like that seemed to show up like any excuse for them to bring out Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. So yeah, I think that was part of the reason it just kind of like in my brain, that's one of the big
that's totally
Disneyest Disney movie I could think of.
That's totally fair. I just wasn't, I wanted to check if there was like
that's a
direct
question.
connection or like a you know, a specific memory that just like brings a smile to your
Hmm.
face or whatnot. But that's a pretty perfect answer. I like it.
Yeah. All right. Very good.
My number three, keeping with my childhood more so than a lot of these ones that were quite a bit older, is 1994's The Lion King. Now, this
Okay.
is one of Disney's biggest hits. It was kind of the end of the Disney Renaissance that happened in like the early 90s with
Hmm.
Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and then Lion King, and then it kind of started going back downhill after that. But
Hmm.
this one is such a, I mean, obviously it's a classic story. It's a retelling of Hamlet. It's Shakespeare essentially, but with cats. Well, like who doesn't like cats? Um, movie is definitely the biggest box office winner of the ones on my list with a budget of only 45 million, so like not quite double Aladdin. Brought in 968 million, almost $1 billion, which would have made it the first movie to hit $1 billion at that point, because this came out before Titanic.
Wow.
So that would have been a nice little feather in its cap. Didn't quite make it, but like 968, like that's
That's
impressive to say
crazy.
the
Yeah.
least.
And that's 4 or 5 years before Titanic.
4 years,
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I would have had that record for a little
Yeah.
while there for
That's right.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, it's got Matthew Broderick and Jonathan Taylor Thomas both playing the same role of Simba as he sort of ages up throughout the movie. I didn't write his name down. I was hoping I'd remember it, but honestly, I don't even know that I'd be able to pronounce it. Sports Night, the Robert
Goulier.
Goulier as Rafiki. I love him on Sports Night.
Yep.
Such a good guy, such a good actor. Jeremy Irons plays a phenomenal villain in Scar.
Hmm.
Just absolutely kills it. The songs in this one are so good. Are they all? I should have looked that up. Are they all Elton John, or is it just in the one romantic one that's that one? But like, "Be
That's a
Prepared" is a
good
great
question.
song. That the
Yeah.
first one that's in like Swahili that nobody actually knows the words to. The Circle of Life, I guess, is what that one's called. Can't Wait to Be King. Like, this is one
No.
I just forgot about this until just now. When we went down to Florida one time, I had saved up some money and I bought a Game Genie, which was Sega's version of the Game Boy. Not a Game Genie, sorry, not a Game Genie, a Game Gear, which was
Yeah. Yeah.
Sega's version of the Game Boy, because it had the color screen and it came with The Lion King and the Lion King soundtrack. So that
Wow.
soundtrack is ingrained in my brain because, like, I didn't have many CDs growing up, and mostly I just stole from you. But that
Hmm.
was one of the ones that I
Yep.
actually owned. So like a lot of that music is just right in my head. Um, and it's honestly it's so good. Like, you can go back. It's a shame they keep remaking these Disney movies, and in my personal opinion, they just make them worse. Like, I haven't seen one
Hmm.
of the remakes yet that's actually better than the source material. The songs are all just like a little bit different. They all just do it a little bit different. Like, I can't even. I know I've seen The Lion King. I feel like it doesn't have "Be Prepared" in it, or it's vastly different. Like, they got rid of some of the references in that song, if you know what I mean.
They did quite a bit of like updating when they were up. Like they've made a lot of changes to the music that they bring forward and different pieces. Yeah.
Yeah.
My kids inexplicably, my youngest is loves the live action Aladdin, and like can't get her to watch the old animated version.
That's so unfortunate.
Chafes at me.
I mean, whatever. If they're enjoying it, they're
Hmm.
enjoying it. You can't force them to like
Yep.
what they're not going to like. But at the same time, it's like, oh, that is not nearly as rewatchable as the original Aladdin. But anyways, we're talking
Yes.
about Lion King. So
Right.
this would be, again, sort of like in that age where mom
It
was
also has
taking us
gone
to the
on.
theaters and whatnot, and you're just seeing
Yeah.
whatever is there because it's $2, and how could you turn down a deal that good? Even though you have to drive an hour and a half to get there, and you're definitely gonna like. There were a lot of questionable things with those trips to the States, but whatever.
The oh, I was just gonna say, and this, went on to be a huge Broadway hit for Disney too,
Oh, for sure.
on the strength of those songs, largely, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I haven't seen the Broadway play, but my brother-in-law swears by it. He's seen it multiple times. Just
Well,
absolutely
what's
loves it.
funny? There's a scene in Sports Night where she talks to Robert Goulet
Oh, really?
about going to see The Lion King on Broadway.
I definitely never put that together. That's fantastic. Um,
Too good.
I guess I mean it's just worth mentioning also James Earl Jones as Mustafa.
Oh,
I mean, obviously he's phenomenal, right? Like
yeah.
he's been great in literally everything that he's done. But that role is so magical. I mean, they stole it a little bit on Simpsons, even with them talking through the clouds and whatnot. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
just really, really well done.
He makes a great dad of bratty kids. Yeah.
Has he? Are you talking about Luke Skywalker? Like, what do you mean here? Weird reference, but okay. Which is, in fact, now a Disney movie. So
There you go.
there you go. Full circle.
Full circle.
Yep. Weird. All right. You can't hear that. Never mind. Okay, so as I mentioned, there's a couple more people in the chat now. When we're talking about the movies, we're going to sort of ignore chat, but then like feel free, put your comments in. We'll definitely get around to them once we're done. Just going to make my life easier when I'm editing this back. So Elder Jim saying Sleeping Beauty is the best. I'm guessing he's talking about he's definitely talking about the old classic Disney princess movies. Says the dragon scared the crap out of him when he was a kid.
Yes.
Double O Gold says that'd be his number 2. I believe that came out when he was talking about Lion King. Double Gold also corrected me that the Game Genie was the cheat thing on the NES. It's on actually many systems.
It's on several systems, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely the NES was the first one it came out with. And I always heard that they actually ruined your games. Like if you played with it for too long, it actually do damage to the game. So anyways, that's really neither here nor there. And Vral's saying Kung Pao was great, and I'm not gonna lie, I do not get that reference. Do you know what Kung Pao is in reference to anything that we're talking about?
I barely remember what I was talking about before you started reading the comments.
I was wondering. Oh, it's a CNN reference.
Like,
okay.
Why were we talking about Star Wars? CNN.
Well, that's what I was wondering if it was like a James Earl Jones being a father to a bratty kid or something. I was like, I don't get that one. Sorry for all. Oh man.
CNN also James Earl Jones. There you go.
Oh yeah, he was phenomenal in many things. I actually remember him from. Wow, this is getting off topic. Clear and Present Danger and Patriot Games as sort of like the ailing boss.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome to the James Earl Jones Hour. What else has he been in?
Top 5.
Yeah, no. I don't. I mean, just like Star Wars over and over again.
We just
I don't know
did
if that
5.
counts. Yeah. Thank you so much for the follow, Chris. I appreciate that. I'm just going to take like 30 seconds here before we move on to the next one. First off, keeping in line with the movies we're just talking about, but throwing some trivia at you people. Jonathan, do not answer this. What is the name of the cat in Cinderella? Jonathan, let me know if you even know that one. You dropped the pen pretty hard. I'm guessing you do not.
I know.
Feel free to put the answer down in chat
right now.
I mean, it's one of those things where like any
my
question,
kids are yelling at the screen right now, probably.
any question I ask,
in England,
people can just like Google, right? But my hope is that people actually know the answer. They can get it faster than you can Google it. That's the dream, at least.
Oh yeah. Okay.
There it is.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
There it is. Got it. Yeah, and now I can hear the mouse saying it with a lisp. Yeah, okay.
Do you think there's any chance your kids in England are actually watching right now?
No chance.
Okay, fair enough. Vral didn't even know there was a cat in Cinderella.
That's how big the time change is.
For sure. Double O Gold saying Gus. Google didn't help you on that one, my friend. Gus is the mouse.
That's a mouse. I'm writing it down for later. I want these points. I want to win money.
I don't want to give you money. So, although you are subscribed, so I guess technically,
there we go.
Feels wrong.
Hold it up.
You know what? You can be on the leaderboard, but I'm not paying you out.
All right, that sounds like the way it would go. I just want the points. I don't care about the money.
That's fine. Jim, yes, you did get it. I didn't want to say that you were correct because then the second person just has to copy what you said. So I wasn't going to announce it until a second person got it. But yes, Jim, don't worry. You got it. I wrote your points down. You're good. So now just anybody copy his answer. You get 2 points. There you go.
Except me, apparently.
Well, you don't count. It's all good, Jim. It's all good. The rules are fluctuating as we go. It's kind of just a crap shot. I literally thought of that question while he was talking. I was like, yeah, we'll do that. Double a gold. It is Lucifer. Well done. Bringing your total up to 7 points for the night. Why not? And before we go on to the next one, I do also want to say I have my brother Jonathan here. He's going to be on the show once a month doing a different top 5 list. At the end of this episode, we'll put up a poll for a couple of different top 5s, or if anybody has any suggestions throughout the rest of the show, let us know. We'll pick a top 5, and then we'll have a month to give ourselves to rewatch some movies, figure out what our list is, and hopefully come back nice and prepared for that list. So if you want to hang out with Jonathan and myself, that'll be 1 month from tonight, roughly, Thursday at 9 p.m. And anyone know how to subscribe with Twitch Prime on a phone? There is a link or something like. I will figure that out and let you know, Jim, because I know that I've talked to Duelam and Run 7 about that, but there's a special link for it or something, so I will send that to you.
It takes me like a month to subscribe.
Well, yeah, but you're half awful. And the other thing was so once a month Jonathan will be on here. We're doing top 5 every other week. I'm gonna have Run 7 / Brian on here, and we're gonna go over things that we've been watching recently, as well as we're still working on it, but some sort of a main topic that'll be a recurring thing. We will let the audience know what the main topic is ahead of time. So let's say we're gonna do like the AFI top 100. We'll let you know, like, okay, we're going to watch 99 for next week. And then everybody in the audience that wants to can watch it along with us. So when we come talk to it, they know what we're talking about. It's not necessarily going to be the AFI Top 100. I'm just saying, like, whatever it ends up being, we'll be like, cool, guys, this is your homework for 2 weeks from now. Nice. You got 2 weeks to watch this. He gave me homework to watch. I watched The Abyss recently for the very first time.
Wow.
But I screwed up and watched the theatrical cut. And the internet yelled at me because the director's cut is the only way to watch that movie, and Run agreed. So he says I have to watch the director's cut by next Thursday. And I didn't technically
find it?
Oh, I own it. I have it on 4K.
Okay.
But the movie just started the theatrical cut. Like, it didn't go into the director's cut or give me the option at a menu. It was just like, here's the movie. And I didn't technically give this homework to Run, but he kind of accepted it himself. He's going to try and watch Citizen Kane. He says he's tried to watch it before, couldn't get through it, but he's figured out a way to get it now. So now he's watching Citizen Kane over the course of 2 weeks, because I think he's having to do it in chunks because of his schedule and whatnot. I'm going to guess by that look, you're not a fan?
I would rewatch it to see. You guys are going to talk about it next week?
Yeah. Thursday, we're going to bring it up. I am talking to you.
All right. Interesting. Okay.
So this show is going to be on every Thursday at 9 p.m. It's just going to be a different guest that I've got on. And we're still figuring out what to do for the 4th week. The very first week, Brian / Run 7 had to bail on me kind of the last minute. He just wasn't feeling good. And another Canadian by the name of Cleaning Agent jumped on, and we had a chat for a good hour and a half. Super fun guy to hang out with. He's been on my show. I've been on his show. Great guy. So I might try and reach out to him and be like, hey, how do you feel about doing something once a month? And we'll see what he has to say about that. But right here, right now, we're still working on that 4th week. And the last piece of business before we jump into our top 2 is, you see in the title description, if you actually hit !movies, if somebody beats me to it, great. We'll give you a link to my new YouTube channel. So this is the last time that I'm going to be broadcasting this content to my video gaming, my Marvel Strike Force YouTube channel on YouTube. I don't know why I said it multiple times, whatever. After that, I have a movie channel. I will be strictly going to Twitch and that channel. So if you want to head over there and hit the subscribe button, that would mean a whole lot to me. I'd really appreciate that. And after this week, I will not be broadcasting this show to my gaming channel. I'll have 2 separate channels just to try and keep it a little bit more clear what you're getting in for when you hit subscribe. Cool. All right, Jonathan, let's do our top 2, and then we'll get like a couple of honorable mentions before we go into the number 1. Sound good?
Okay.
All right. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Winnie the Pooh.
Really?
The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, the 1977 theatrical release. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I love this movie. It really closely follows the books. The books are really well written, and a lot of the humor is very like caught up in the language. I really enjoy that. Yeah, this was one actually you used to rewatch, I think, when you were really little. I think you learned how to rewind a VCR so you could watch this on loop when you were like 3 years old. So
I
it's
don't
one I've
remember that
seen.
whatsoever, but I will trust you.
You just have to believe me. um, and so yeah, that's yeah, I got you. You're starting technology, dude. So there you go. I
So you're
think
saying Winnie the
my
Pooh is to blame for all of this?
all of this. Yeah.
Wow. Oh bother.
My dad brought our VCR to the school, which didn't own a VCR, and we watched The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh with my class in kindergarten, in Mrs. Gillespie's kindergarten class. Yeah, and so this movie goes all the way back for me.
Apparently.
Yeah, yeah. And we're the same age. So there you go.
What
Boom.
you said 77?
Yeah. Um,
Oh, there it
so
is.
I
Okay.
had two different release dates. I have both a March and a May release date online. So I don't know what's going on with that, but they're both in 1977. So we're good. Same age as Star Wars. It's a very good year, is all I'm saying. Walt
2 out of 3 ain't
Disney
bad.
bought the rights to this and realized that the American population was not as familiar with Winnie the Pooh as the British population. And so he broke it into 3 short stories, released the shorts before feature films, which they're doing all the time anyway, over a period of 10 years. And then, having created the audience for it, put the 3 stories back together. So this is like a labor of love for like, over a decade for him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't around to see it completed. Depending on who you ask, it's sort of one of the last movies he worked on because the first short came out the year he died.
Okay.
And he had said one of his favorite scenes of like Disney of all time was the one where Pooh gets stuck in the hole and
Yeah.
Rabbit's like decorating his butt with the shelf and the paint and all this stuff. He said that he thought that was hilarious. So anyway, so he worked on this one forever, and then like from buying the rights to the thing coming out as a theatrical release,
Yeah.
was like a 15-20 year span. So phenomenal there. A bunch of the actors, it was the last work that they did. The narrator passed away like a week or two after the film came out in the theaters.
So you're saying it's cursed.
I'm saying a lot of people didn't do anything else.
Okay. Okay.
You draw your own conclusions, but obviously it is cursed. Yes.
Clearly. The Macbeth of the animated world.
That's right. Exactly. Winnie the Pooh, the actor, retired. He did have some television credits, but they'd said it was his final film.
Sure.
And then the rabbit, the voice of the rabbit, and the voice of Kanga both also passed away in a couple of years after, having not worked on anything else. So. Also, when you make a movie over 15 years, I guess that's going to happen. So
that's fair. Yeah. I have no real recollection of this movie, and at the same time, really? I would bet money that if you played it now, I'd be like, "Oh, this scene, okay, that's not fair." Yeah. I shouldn't say I have no recollection of this scene. I couldn't, because there's a lot of Winnie the Pooh shorts and animation and stuff like that, and like TV show even. Yeah. I couldn't tell you definitively what's I've seen that is feature. In this film versus what is in something else Winnie the Pooh.
Right.
But I'm sure if I was to watch this, it'd be like, oh, I remember this. Because as soon as you mentioned like the hole when he's decorating his butt, I was like, yep, that checks out.
Yeah. That's imprinted in your 4-year-old brains.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. The 3 shorts are Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree. And he's on a quest to grab honey. He ends up getting stuck eating rabbit's honey and fattening up on it. It should have been a moral tale for us, but we didn't learn that lesson.
But he draws on his butt, so he. Clearly, I learned my lesson about gluttony.
This is what I'm saying.
Right? Yeah. Stuck with me.
Yeah.
What I actually took was just, oh, honey's good.
Exactly. If it's good, you should keep eating it
For sure.
until you can't get out the door. Also, why did you use Rabbit's back door? I don't know.
I don't have the answer.
And then the blustery day is when Owl's house blows over or something. And then the third one is the introduction to Tigger. And I think there's a whole Heffalump thing going on in that one as well.
Heffalump?
Dude, really?
Just asking the questions, man. Just asking the questions.
You literally saw this 1,000 times. Heffalumps are their psychedelic elephants.
Pink elephants?
No, that's Dumbo.
I know.
You watched that.
That one I know.
Too. Oh my goodness.
Talk about earworms. That song will get in your head for days. Song's evil. Anyways,
the Heffalump sequence does have some callback to the pink elephants.
Yeah. Good. Moving on.
Mabeth is yelling things at the computer right now, I'm sure.
Mabeth doesn't know how to use the computer. She doesn't know what's going on right now.
All right.
Mabeth is our sister for anyone out there who's like, what?
Wow.
I mean, sure. So my number 2, as I'm sure this is predictable because people have, I had all the facts ready to go on this one. My number 2 is Moana. It's the newest one on my list. I love this movie. The music in this is so incredible. The performances are hilarious. I
thought I was going to get so much crap.
Oh, the internet maybe, but not me.
List.
Not me.
All
Can
right.
I show you this?
And this is one we have no overlap here. This is just our excellent taste superseding everybody else's crappy opinion.
You kept talking, and I'm pretty sure I cut to a scene where you had no audio. But yes, give me 1 second. You can see my screen, right?
I can see your screen.
Cool. So that photo right there is my brother-in-law, myself, and Alan Tudyk, who is the voice of many, many things, including Hey Hey the Chicken. And I want nothing quite as much in this world as I want to see the video footage of Alan Tudyk in a recording studio recording the lines for a chicken as it's going crazy out at Ocean. I know you can see like 8-second clippets, but he must have done that for like 45 minutes to an hour at least. I want to see the whole thing.
Days. He was days in the studio just getting it right.
Yeah, there's a scene where he's just like, I went to Juilliard.
Oh.
The music in this is phenomenal. Dwayne Johnson's fantastic. Like, you think he does the role very well. People argue that he doesn't sing the song. He just kind of like talks his way through it. Whatever. It's memorable and you know it. The giant crab with the shiny song is so funny. That's somebody mentioned his name earlier when I was talking about him. Just everything about this movie. And honestly, this is so to touch for a second on something I don't necessarily want to go super far into. But for the rest of the audience, there was a period fairly recently where I was going through a pretty tough time, was dealing with some like PTSD from work and stuff like that, right? And the song How Far You'll Go, that's not quite right, but it's something very similar to that.
How Far I'll Go.
How Far I'll Go.
Yeah.
Wrecked me every single time. But like in a weird, good, like almost cathartic.
In a good way.
Right? Yeah. But it was one of those songs where like it was on my actual playlist for a little while. Like some of these songs like have transcended the movie. I just think it's so good. Jermaine Clement, thank you very much. Is the crab. And the story idea of like, because obviously the story is about the little girl, but to some extent it's also about the father letting go of his little girl and letting her explore the world and reach out and go beyond her breadth and go beyond the comfort zone, which, I mean, as you and I are both obviously fathers of many daughters,
we're totally against that.
Well, I mean, it hits home pretty hard. Like, your kids are actually across the ocean right now.
Yes,
mine are still firmly at home and for many years, but it hits on so many levels. I think the movie's absolutely beautiful. I still find it funny. There's still scenes in that, even though I know the jokes are coming. This like, I am still falling, just gets me. Like, the performance on that is so good. I don't know. I can't say enough good things about this movie. There's only one that I can say that I enjoy more, obviously, but
Right.
As I said, this one gives number one a good fight. Like they're neck and neck. I think I'm correct in putting this at number two, but honestly, give me a week and it could change.
I just had a funny thing about the crab. Lin Manuel Miranda said that his inspiration for the whole Shiny song and that character was based on David Bowie.
That checks out.
Right? And even the vibe of the song, like it's in there. Like you listen to it again, you're like, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah. This was also, by the way, a huge success for Disney. I feel like it was kind of quiet because it was in between all the like how many Frozens there are now. I don't even know or care.
More than you need.
And it comes around with it makes $700 million for them. So a monster success, but it kind of just got lost in the shuffle. I thought for a lot of people, and that's why I like putting it on my list. I thought this is gonna be a sleeper, but here we are agreeing. So.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. November 23rd, 2016, budget of 150, made way more than that with $687 million. As you said, like
7 times.
Like
well,
I
can't do math.
think a lot of
5
movies kind of got swept under the rug to some extent because Frozen was such a monster hit. Like we talked about Tangled earlier.
Yeah. Same deal with Tangled.
And Tangled is one of those movies. I think it's so much better than Frozen. But it just came out at the wrong time and just got completely encompassed by it. And to some extent, I think this one did as well, even though it is quite a few years later. I still feel like the Let It Go and the Elsa and Anna was so strong branding.
Nobody had Let It Go yet.
Yeah, ironically, yes.
Yeah.
So
I don't care for Frozen. I don't know what about it. It just doesn't do. I think the singing, the music is very well done. I think Kristen Bell does a really good job in that, but it just doesn't something for me.
I think it was really good the first time or two, and it the twist, I'm gonna call it, with the bad guy was legitimately a good twist. Like I did not see that coming. I think they did a good job with the film, but it just doesn't hold up to rewatches. Like there's nothing in that movie. No, there's one or two jokes that I still find amusing when I watch it now, but for the most part, I'm over it. I'm done with the songs. And there's movies on this list that I've seen way more times than Frozen.
Oh yeah.
That I'm just like, no, I'd watch that again right now. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what it is about it, but yeah, definitely Frozen is not making this list for me. So
yeah. Frozen feels like a cartoon kids movie made for adults that doesn't succeed at either for me.
Fair.
Because the quality is there. It feels like they put the effort in, but then it just somehow doesn't something. Yeah.
No, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, my kids
but there's no magic.
Loved this one. So like this was on repeat in my house for a long time. No, we're still on Frozen now. Like, I guess we're yeah.
I got
fair.
lost in this. Yeah,
we just randomly spew. That's fine.
Right off a cliff. Frozen was big. Yeah, both Frozens, unfortunately, over and over and over.
Ooh, my kids did not. I mean, my kids liked Frozen because it was a movie experience for them, but like, I don't think they've rewatched it more than twice. Like, it didn't have anywhere near the same appeal.
The second one,
second one, Frozen 2. Frozen 1, nonstop because the twins were super young. Frozen 2, once or twice.
My youngest one got on the Frozen 2. I don't know if the other kids really enjoyed it, but the youngest one gets to rewatch whatever they want, as you know.
Oh yeah. Okay, now before we jump into our number ones,
did we ever talk about our personal criteria? How did you make your list?
We definitely didn't.
I know we didn't.
Oh, 1 second. I'm gonna let you talk for a second. I think somebody's actually responding to me with what I need.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about my criteria because I had to think about a criteria. These movies are so beloved. There's so many good Disney movies. This list could be a top 20, and there would be 20 good movies to pick from. There are a bottom of the list that I would love to just burn on. Right, like my personal criteria is pretty high for a Disney movie to get to the top 5 of the list. I feel like it has to be a movie that works for kids and it works for adults, and because it's a Disney movie, it has to work to rewatch it 1,000 times because I'm gonna have to anyway. And so those are some of the things I'm looking for. And as a part of all that, I think there has to be humor that works on a few different levels. Not saying it has to be like double entendres and you know, other people have gone that way, but just there it has to have some slapstick for the really young kids. It has to have some visual humor. It has to have catchy songs that contain some humor. And it has to have some of that higher plane, you know, some lyrical, some wordplay, some banter that the adults are going to pick up on and enjoy and hear again and again on the rewatch. You're just getting new stuff out of the just the speed of the back and forth. So that's where you see things like Aladdin or Lin Manuel's lyricism just pops because you're watching it for the 100th time and you get something new, or it just tickles your funny bone in a different way.
Nice.
That was the criteria I was looking for. And you were actually really astute at pointing out like Cinderella was the odd one out on my list where it felt like, how do I make a Disney list without a Disney movie on there? And so it felt like it kind of like it is one we really enjoy, but it's a little bit more, you know, it's not that. Yeah. It's kind of like the classic Disney vibe, not these other movies. So I lost track of where we were going. Were we going to honorable mentions?
We were going to
talk
and you
about
talked
your
about
criteria.
the criteria.
I hijacked you.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine.
I had to think a lot about the criteria for this one, so I wanted to talk about.
No, that's fair.
Ended up being. What was your criteria? How did you make your list?
My criteria with a lot of the lists that I'm making right now. Okay, so well, we'll get into that later. With a lot of the movies that I with a lot of movies that I put in lists like this, Black Cauldron was an option Green Tuckian. I've never seen it. It was one of the ones I was hoping to watch before this happened. I just never got around to it. But I don't think it would have made either of our top fives regardless. But yes, it was technically an option.
An option for what?
For the list.
Oh,
like
sorry.
Like it technically is viable. Yeah. Honestly, like I don't know that I put as much thought into this one because this one is a little bit more cut and dry. So when I say that, what I mean is, like, if it's a Disney animated film, there's a finite amount of that, right? So when I look at the list of, I think it's 61 movies,
5 out of 7.
I just go that one. Okay, trim 3. Right? Like it wasn't like I wasn't like, oh, it has to have this, it has to have that. I have to, because like I'm not terribly concerned with making sure that I've got one of everything on this list, because then it's not my list. Then it feels like it's almost hijacked by agency. Whereas like everything on this list, I would watch tomorrow with my kids fairly happily. Not saying that they would be like, oh my gosh, kids, let's sit down and watch Aladdin. But like if my kids were like, Dad, I'd really like to watch Aladdin. Okay.
Right.
I could do that. That's fine. Or
and I would argue my criteria was that ultimately, because I'm looking for the humor and the appealing to everybody and the rewatchability, that it had to kind of fit that box as well. Yeah.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
Now with other movie lists where it's I mean, Aaron Sorkin's also pretty definitive. What else did we do? We did rom-coms, Christmas movies, let's say. With something like Christmas movie, which is still fairly easily definable, although we could go back to that argument.
Don't start that up.
Yeah. It's much broader category.
I can't talk about Die Hard in May. It's too seasonal.
All right. I got nothing. Totally stoned me. So like with movies like that, it's a much more a wide open net. So one thing, okay, so with Brian on the other weeks, we've decided we're going to make a top 20 movie list for each other. Not necessarily this is our definitive top 20 movies we love ever, but more of like a, if you know these movies, you will understand me better. Does that make sense? Because like Brian lives in Texas. We've never met. We've done a couple of podcasts together. I've watched his stream. He's watched my stream. But like, we're not close. Like it's not like obviously we live together and whatnot. So this is kind of an interesting way to sort of like get to know each other in a weird
Yep.
way. So like there's movies on that list that I wouldn't necessarily think are actually on my top 20, but when I think of movies that would describe me, they kind of have to be there. Like maybe they open the door to something else more so than they were the number one. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know that I might get shot for this one. I don't know that Star Wars makes my top 20. I just don't know that it's on there anymore. But
Mhm.
Star Wars opened my love for science fiction, and science fiction is huge with me. So it kind of gets
Interesting.
that, like it kind of
Right.
makes it onto that list because of that lineage, more so
Yeah.
than because, man, I really want to watch New Hope right now.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It changes by list is essentially what I'm getting at. The Disney one seemed really
Yeah.
easy for me.
Totally.
Now that being said, do you have any honorable mentions? Like you said, you got to 4, and then it was kind of tough to get to number 5, whereas I had to like 6 or 7. I had to cut down.
I didn't have trouble coming up with more. 4 were obvious to me, and then there was about 5 to 10 that was like any of those could be my number 5, and I'd be happy. So don't worry, I got the honorable mentions down to 3, I think. But
Yay!
um,
Jonathan's movie
uh,
honorable mentions, no, Christmas honorable mentions
yeah,
was what, like
yeah,
37 or something?
2 pages.
Yeah, it was good times.
No, I got Tangled, which you've mentioned.
Yep, good one.
The Emperor's New Groove,
Ooh,
which I feel is like I had to go back and check that it wasn't a direct to video. Like I felt like it was probably just the timing in my life, because it was in between being a kid and having a kid for me. And so we rented it with my oldest quite a bit back in the dollar video rental days.
Sure.
And so we saw it lots. I'm sure we ended up buying it and the sequel and the whatever. But I find that one super rewatchable. David Spade and John Goodman, and just a ton of fun. Also brings that like several layers of humor. Lots of fun in that one. But yeah, I was like, is that even a Disney movie? Did that go to the theater too? Which it totally did. So it was legit. And my third one was, of course, Little Mermaid.
Okay.
That was one I really enjoyed. I feel like the songs hold up, but I feel like when you watch it, it looks a little bit dated in a way that, like, none of the 80s and 90s Disney really does. So I'm not sure what that's about.
Interesting.
But
That's not where I thought you were going there. I thought it's a very different movie as a father than it was as a kid.
Yeah, also listen to your dad.
Yeah, right? Like,
right.
Oh, King Triton was right this
always.
entire time. Ariel's an idiot.
1,000%. Yeah. And somehow there's a happy ending when no one listened to him once. Yeah. You know why? Because he had to solve all the problems.
Right,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
You always
I'll
have a
just
happy
show
ending
up,
when dad
do
steps
all
in
the
and
work,
just kills everyone.
risk my life. Yeah. You guys go have your happy little wedding. Very Father the Bride.
Yeah, no. Double O Gold,
Yeah.
way happier ending than the original story. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Oh, too good.
Oh man,
Those were the I could go on and on. Somebody mentioned Sleeping Beauty. I had to actually rewatch part of Sleeping Beauty. I was rewatching parts of it last night, trying to sort out if that came into the honorable mentions at all. I really enjoy the story. I really like the dragon fight. That's one of my favorite like Disney Prince Knight moments. Like I feel like we don't get a lot of that.
Yeah.
And so that was really that is really good. So that was another one that came into my honorable mentions. I feel like if I do any more honorable mentions, I'm going to get people yelling at the screen at home and my home, and also maybe give away my number one. So there we go.
Totally fair. So I mentioned, I feel like I'm forgetting one. I'm just going to grab that list super quickly. So two of my
there is an era in the 60s, I think, late 50s or mid 60s to the 1970, where you could put almost any of those Disneys up against anything on our top 5, I think, and it would hold up. It's just a matter of preference right there, too. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's worse.
Yeah.
So the two that were like 100% are Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid. Because there is that, like, I don't know if it's actually a 4-year window, but it's a 4-movie window where like Disney
Mm-hmm.
was on fire. Like maybe that's just because I was young at the time. That's totally possible.
No, that's.
But
I
like
think.
those
Yeah.
4 movies in a row were just like, oh man, just banger after banger. So good. Music is phenomenal. All of them. They're very rewatchable. All 4.
Yep.
But when it came right down to it, I did have to make some cuts, unfortunately. I don't know if I
Mm-hmm.
agree with you on the animation in Little Mermaid, but maybe I need to watch that one again somewhat recently and just kind of
If it and
see if that one.
maybe like a Blu-ray cut is better, but it seemed like I was watching some stuff online, and it just looks it's like faded or something. It's
Yeah.
like the color's just not there. I don't know if that's part of being trying to be underwater or what, but it's like everything's just a little bit grayed out. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm looking at this list. I didn't realize Big Hero 6 was one of the eligible movies. It wouldn't have made my top 5, but it is a very good one. I like that
It's
one.
very good. Yeah.
My kids love Encanto. I love the
I
music in Encanto. I do not
Lin-Manuel
care for the
Miranda.
actual movie Encanto.
I still have not figured out what the message of Encanto was. I'm still disappointed she's not got a. Even if you're not special at all, which you obviously aren't, you're not terrible. Is that the
Everybody's a
message?
little bit special.
But not you.
Cleaning agent reminding us that we do not talk about Bruno. How you doing, cleaning agent? We are just doing the honorable mentions. We are about to get into our number ones. We're doing our top 5 Disney movies here with my brother.
Bolt's another fun
I hope so.
recent one that my kids enjoyed, but wouldn't be a top 5 by any stretch.
Which one's that?
For me? Bolt.
I have never made it through Bolt. I have tried
Wow.
multiple times. I can't stay awake. It does nothing for me. I like the idea of it, I think, like, but just doesn't do it. Double Gold saying surface pressure gets me every time. Completely agree. Completely agree. We were talking about a phase that I went through recently or a couple years ago, and again, that song hits. Having to stay strong for the people around you, and having to be, you know, the emotional support and the actual one that everybody turns to. Like, yep, I get it. That one does. Sport Dingo says he loved Bolt as a kid. Nice. Again, I don't know what it is about that one. I just cannot get through it.
Now I'm feeling really old.
Oh, Dingo's young. I know Dingo in real life. Like we hang out every now and then, but he's like,
Okay.
I think he just turned 21. So don't worry. I feel old
feel
all
much
the
better.
time
Okay.
around him.
Yeah. No, it's okay. He's younger than my kids, so that's fine.
Yeah. Double Gold as an oldest kid and as a parent. Yeah. 21 in 7 days. Yeah, he just turned. He's fresh. Is he
Nice.
is he older than your oldest at that point, or is he younger?
No, 22.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
Wow, that hurts my brain.
40 days. So there you go. Yeah. Think about that next time you're hanging with Dingo, yeah.
Nope. All right. Do you want to give us your number 1 Disney animated movie of all time?
I got lost in my notes here. Yes.
That's fine. I feel like I should have had a drum roll or something going on as I said that.
I am very excited to give you my number 1. My number 1 Disney movie of all time is Robin Hood, the 1970 animated animal classic. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Somebody in chat just said, "Hey, I'm running late. Did somebody mention Robin Hood?" Like literally as you were saying it.
Not yet. Yeah. Almost blew it. Yeah. Yeah, this is just all the way through everything about it. The songs are a lot of fun. They're not the big artsy songs you get in the classic Disney with the Cinderella or the newer stuff you get with kind of this new era with the Frozen and things like that. But it's fun all the way through. I find it immensely rewatchable. My kids have all enjoyed it, and that's over 50 years later. It doesn't look like the best Disney movie. It doesn't sound like the best Disney movie, but the story is there. The characters are good. The humor is there. I think it hits on my criteria, which isn't those criteria. So Yeah,
Fair.
that's my brief argument for Robin Hood. Mentioned this list coming up to a few different people, and I already kind of had my like I said first four set in stone, and a few different people said to me, "Well, there's only one right answer."
Did this
And
one was this like a snap call?
also,
Like this was your number one, like from the very beginning?
oh yeah,
Oh
yeah. I
wow.
didn't
Okay.
even. I had to like look at the pictures to make sure. Look at the list of what was eligible to make sure I wasn't forgetting anything. But that was my number one right from go.
Fair enough. Yeah, this is one that my youngest just recently started watching because she's watching it with our dad. So
Oh
this is
yeah,
like she knows this as the grandpa movie, right? Like she knows
yes,
what it's
yeah. My
called, but
dad
like she
loves this
references it as this one.
movie. Yeah,
I
my
haven't
dad
seen this
loves
one in
this
a
movie. My kids
long
love this
time,
movie.
but like I was
Okay.
like, oh, we should watch this. Like, how do you feel? Like, should we watch this? And she's just like, that's a grandpa movie, and I'm just like, fair enough. So I
Wow.
was not allowed to rewatch this one with her. I
Nice.
That's where most of my rewatches came, was watching it with my youngest. But she's like, no,
Nice.
that's a grandpa movie. I'm like, okay, fair.
That's amazing.
Sorry,
Very good.
somebody in chat saying it looks like you had a prison bunk back there. Um, I think that says more about you, the Hamibliss, than it does about my brother.
I was mentioning before we got started that I have done this I think four times, and I've done this in four different spots in my house, and this is yeah we I keep moving, but I think this is the best setup we've had sound wise. Everything seems to be working.
Yeah, the last
The
one was a
lighting's
little
not
bit
terrible.
brutal. I think you were like
Oh
too
my
close to the
goodness!
stairs or
Just
something. Every
noticing
time
it got
somebody
dark
walked up or
outside.
downstairs, it's like thump, 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 thump. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Robin Hood quite a bit. It's been a long time since I've seen it. The story is fantastic. The music is, I don't know if I could do word for word, but at the same time, the tunes are just ingrained in my brain.
Yeah. I
Oodalali,
hum those
oodalali,
songs.
golly,
Yeah.
what a day.
Yeah. Some of those songs are my default setting songs. I
I just picture you
wake
getting
up,
like,
it'll be one of those.
yeah,
Yeah.
you take a
Every
fall,
mood.
hit your head, just like, oodalali.
It's the opening lines. Robin Hood and Little John running. I just get that. That just starts my day. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's all you needed to say in my brain. It's like, oh, I do remember the songs. Yeah, yeah. No.
Yep. Yeah, you do.
This is one that we had as a. It's weird how your brain works. We had a copied version of this off of, like when you record off TV. Wow, I don't know why that
Yeah.
was so hard to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
And so the ending of this, where they're walking off, I think they walk off into a storybook, if I remember correctly. It's been a minute. Like that cuts to an old TV show in my brain that like if I was to watch this movie on Disney
Like
Plus or
halfway through the
something,
theme
it'd be
song
just
of
like,
Family Ties.
where is I was gonna say, what are the two women? Anyway, that's so far not important.
Kate and Allie.
Yeah, Kate and Allie. I was thinking it was Kate and Allie. But like
Yeah.
my brain would probably watch
hilarious.
this movie and just be like, why aren't there people in like what's going on here?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Anyways, why did only one brother get hair? I got plenty of hair. It's just in the wrong spots.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, this one I haven't seen it myself. I might have to go back and watch this one recently, honestly.
You've got to
'cause,
rewatch
like,
this one. Yeah.
it's been so long, and even just talking about it, I'm just like, yeah, that might be the right call. Not necessarily as
So
number
good.
one, but definitely something that
So
should have
good.
been a rewatch, should have been on the list.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
So
Do you actually have? I didn't look this one up, obviously, but do you have the box office on that one? I'm just super curious. If you don't off the top of your head, don't look it up.
I was looking up all this stupid trivia. The another thing about this thing, it's probably a very interesting
Only interesting if you finish the sentence.
I was gonna say there's like tons of this movie are actually cut from other Disney movies of the era. They had just made The Jungle Book. They had just made they had just made Aristocrats like 3 years earlier, And so there's like a scene of Maid Marian dancing,
Yep.
and it's like cut.
Oh,
You can overlay it like it's the exact same as the cat from Aristocrats dancing.
the
And you just
second you said that, my brain connected those dots that I have never connected in the past.
Yeah, there's a bunch of that in this movie. There's a bunch of silly, un-Disney-like errors.
Interesting.
Prince John's crown, the jewels are changing colors. Characters have different numbers of fingers in different sequences. Like I've got it my number one, but I'm admitting there is some sloppy stuff in this that you don't often see.
You didn't notice it as a kid, I'm sure, though.
That's right. Yeah, some of them, I think the jewels maybe I noticed. Some of them were familiar to me just hearing about them. I was listening to this walking home from work, and I was like, yeah, I did notice that. Yeah. There's a character with a cast on a leg, and it switches legs at a few points. Like which leg is got a cast. There's a scene where the sheriff walks up to a well, and then they just kind of reverse it with him walking away from the well, like it kind of looks like a glitch.
Okay.
In the Matrix. It's really a bizarre scene. There's a scene where anyway, there's a bunch of these there's a whole you can watch YouTube videos on this stuff, but I guess you are.
That's fair.
The sheriff's badge moving and just crazy stuff there. So I imagine it would be very interesting to know kind of what that numbers look like. Oh, here we go. I'm looks like a $5 million budget with a initial 32 million gross in the US. So that's a really good return, actually.
You said $5 million budget?
Yeah.
And this is
73.
Wow.
So
that's a significant chunk of change.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems like maybe some corners got cut that would normally get cut. There's usually pretty good quality control, like for Disney, those kind of glitches and stuff. I mean, they maybe some intentional stuff, but not just silly errors like that. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
You almost wonder if that's on purpose, just try to make the budget work a little bit, but
yeah,
hard to say.
Yeah.
Just seeing if I've got anything more to say about Robin Hood before we go on to my number one, because I just imagine we've got quite a few people jumping into chat at the moment. People are agreeing with you. Hambliss is saying Aladdin is his favorite because Robin Williams crushed it. That was my number 5. That was definitely one we've talked about already.
And my number 4, so
yeah.
I'm more right than you, according to him.
According to one person. Well, you're probably going to be a lot more right than me after this next one. This is the one that's got me a little bit nervous.
Fantasia!
No! I like myself too much for that.
If I ever get insomnia.
So, my number 1, you actually have touched on already, but it was in your honorable mentions.
Oh.
My number 1 is Emperor's New Groove. Which is,
really?
As you said, barely a Disney movie. And the most rewatchable movie maybe I've ever seen.
I love that that's your number 1.
So incredibly funny. Not every line, but like the vast majority of the movie is quotable. It's rewatchable. My kids love this one, so it'll be just playing in the van, and just certain lines will get me when I'm not even watching the movie.
Yeah. Yep.
It's so funny. No music to speak of, I guess, other than maybe his theme song. But you don't really miss it. I guess, yeah, okay, they do have the Cusco song at the very beginning.
Yeah. Cusco.
Just a really weird Disney movie, completely out of nowhere, but so funny, so well done. I had to write his name. Patrick Warburton just absolutely crushes it as Kronk. Although his own movie was not good, but so be it.
Not as good. Not as good.
We did do an honorable mention of Beauty and the Beast. Thank you very much. But you're right. No Jungle Book or 101 Dalmatians. Sorry, interrupting myself.
I was surprised by myself when those didn't show up. But
well, that's where I was saying.
The more
like
I thought about it, yeah, they'd be in a top 20, but they didn't make my top 5. So, I'm getting hate on the internet right now, aren't I?
No, you're fine. You brought up good movies. People are just like, what? Where is this one? Where's this one?
Now the hate comes.
Yeah. We just had to get to number one. That's all.
I was expecting to fight with you actually quite a bit more.
No, so the
And
thing
I
is,
did lose track of how many overlap we did because of the honorable mentions, but
I was thinking that I should have written down what your actual list was, but so be it. We had a decent amount of
Aladdin,
overlap.
no, just
but
Aladdin and Moana. So 2. I was right. I was wrong about which 2 by
Fair.
quite a bit, but I had Aladdin picked, and I guessed. I thought maybe Robin Hood would be on yours.
I thought about it, but it's been so long since I've seen it, and Charlie
Yeah.
wouldn't rewatch it with me. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, I could watch Robin Hood by myself, but that just doesn't
Yeah.
feel like it's going to be a good time.
Doesn't feel right.
No. Yeah. So the Emperor's New Groove, just going back to it for one quick second, was released in 2000 and was by far the worst performing Disney movie that I took a look at. With a budget of $100 million, it only brought in $169 million.
Oh.
Didn't even double its budget, which is just brutal considering we're looking at other movies
For a
that are
Disney
like
movie,
20 times
animated?
their
Yeah.
budgets.
Yeah.
Now, 100 million is pretty up there for some of these ones, but even so, like the
That's
average
a
one we're
big
seeing is like,
budget at the time. That seems really surprising to me. I wonder if that's what that's about. Like, I mean, there's stars in
talent.
this movie.
like you've got David
lot of
Spade,
times-
you've got John Goodman.
John Goodman.
Yeah, like the animation you wouldn't think would be as
Mhm.
expensive as CG at the time.
Well, I'm wondering, is it animated or is it CG? I'm wondering if
It's
it's
animated.
if it's yeah. I'm wondering if that's if
Eartha
it was-
Kitt, yes, great actress.
Mhm.
Pull the lever, wrong lever.
So good. Oh,
Oh, the diner scene. I could just it's all good. It's all good. There's no fat to trim on that one.
now I'm thinking about the darkest timeline though. It's all your fault.
Interesting.
Other-
Okay.
Other people got it.
That's sure. Is that a Community reference?
Yeah.
Okay. Hiding from Real Life is saying we shouldn't rank movies based on when we were high at the time of watching them. I have seen this movie so many times, and I've watched this movie more times than I've been high. Let's just throw that out there. Do with that as you will, chat. Double Gold saying his appreciation of the movie is tinged by his general dislike of David Spade. That's fair
I
to
can
a certain
understand
extent. Like I
But
get
I
that.
don't have that dislike. Yeah.
I don't have a overall love of David Spade. Like I like things that he's been in, but I don't necessarily like him. Like I won't watch something because David Spade is in it, but I also won't avoid something because David Spade is in it. It's just kind of like okay, I recognize him. Moving on.
I think I like his. I think I like his humor in some areas. Yeah.
Fair.
This is maybe my favorite thing that he's in. But I think there's other things that I enjoy.
Hambless,
I like
no,
the
Pixar is
speed
not
that
allowed.
his
This is
humor
Disney
tends to
only.
run
We
at.
can do an entire list on Pixar, so we're going to save that one for now. I will. We've got a decent amount of people in chat. I'm just going to throw a poll up. We're not necessarily done talking just yet tonight, but out of curiosity, we've got. So, okay, now there's more people showing up. Jonathan here is going to join me once a month to do a top 5 list. So we've got another month from tonight to come up with a list, watch the movies, make it, and do that. So I will run a quick little poll. What do people want to see in that list? You'll do the poll?
I don't know how to do a poll.
I was going to say, like, don't you have to be a mod or
What,
something to do that?
what are your options for the poll? What are your options for the poll?
Duchess of Destruction saying top 5 buddy cop movies. I like it.
Ooh.
What should the next top 5 be? All right, we got buddy
We've thrown
cops.
out some ideas in the past. Maybe I'll just throw them up there, out there.
Yep.
One of the ideas we've talked about is just most rewatchable movies that we've enjoyed rewatching. That would be a personal list. So
Now that's
there's no
rewatched by
wrong
us.
answers.
That's not like the most rewatchable period. That's
To
like
us.
ones that you have
By
seen
us.
the most times personal.
Is it just a stats list? Stats driven list? I don't know if I've kept a good enough record.
How do you
some of the
feel
other
about
ones- We've talked about top 5 Hitchcock, top 5 Tarantino. I think I'm pretty nearing completion with some of those, so I could do that. And there's another one that I thought of and I lost already because that's how quickly my brain forgets things.
My issue with Hitchcock is the dude made like 198 movies, and I've probably seen 7 of them. You know what I mean? So like my list would be so so short. How do you feel about top 5?
Like 100 of those are TV shorts. So that was a TV series.
How would you feel about comic book movies? Not MCU, just comic book, like anything based off of a comic book period. Can you?
I'm going to get
hang
in trouble
with that?
online.
If not, that's fine. I'm just checking and throwing it out there.
All right, I got to think about that a little bit. Yeah, have I seen 5 comic book movies?
Oh, I'd be shocked if you didn't. Green Tuckin is saying sci-fi movies that don't include Star Wars or Star Trek.
Ooh. I would have to plan that one a few months ahead and get some homework done.
I was gonna say that one's a big list.
Yeah. Pixar. That was the other one, of course, because we mentioned.
We don't want to do two
back to back.
Two back to back though, right? Like we can
like
get there.
Tarantino in between there or something. As a palate cleanser, I can't watch another animated special.
Some people are throwing out spoof movies.
Ooh.
You like that? Okay. War movies is a good one from Kevin.
Oh yeah.
Some Dutch the Destruction is saying top 5 spy movies.
All my war movies have people falling in love at Christmas. I hope that's okay with people.
For people who missed that reference, we
gotta tune in more regularly.
Yeah.
No.
The last list we did was top 5 rom-coms.
Yeah,
Be sure to check out Jonathan's list. We got some hate on that one, but whatever. Got the conversation started. I noticed Hefe didn't show up at all tonight, so
yeah, that's cold.
Top 5 Sean Bean deaths. Oh man, you have to include TV on that one. I need to see the list. Okay, so we're looking the ones I've grabbed. No, not rom-coms again. We're not doing it again. Don't worry. Ones I've got on the list. We got room for one more.
Actual rom-coms in it.
We got Buddy Cop, most rewatchable, Tarantino, spoofs. We got room for one more. So I throws out a good one that I like, or that we like.
You got the war movies. Did you get the war movies?
I didn't get war movies. You want to throw out the last one? I feel like, oh man, I'm gonna get crushed on that one.
Yeah, you're gonna have trouble.
Kevin is saying monster. Sorry, no. Green Tuckin is saying monster movies. I think that's gonna be a tough one for Jonathan. Not much of a horror fan.
Not a horror fan.
Kevin says shocking endings though. Could you do shocking endings / twist endings?
Love shocking endings.
I'm gonna replace war movies with twist endings.
I love war movies. Oh, dude.
Okay. Well,
shocking endings is probably
okay. What do you want to get rid of more?
There's a few good ones I have not seen. So
we got Buddy Cop, most rewatchable, Tarantino, spoof, and twist endings. Of that list, I would probably switch spoof out for something else.
Is this an actual poll? Are we committed to the people, or are we just going to do whatever we want after we?
No, we'll let the audience dictate. What's the point of having an audience if we ignore them, like we have this entire time? Not all monster movies are exactly horror. Top 5 movies adapted from novels. I see what you're doing there, cleaning agent. I see you. All right, so I'm gonna replace spoof with war movies, and we're gonna get this started. It's a 10-minute poll. Throw your vote in, Jonathan. You can vote too if you want. Although I don't think you're on Twitch at the moment.
I don't know how to do Twitch. You know.
It took me like 3 months to convince you to subscribe.
I have to reset my password or some BS.
Yeah. It's all good. Can you get more than one? I mean, view results, end poll, delete poll. I think I have to change that when I set it up, and I didn't set it up that way, so not for this one, Green Tuckin, unfortunately. Look at a 3-way split between twist ending, most rewatchable, and Buddy Cop. I'm not gonna lie. Most rewatchable, I think it'd be a very fun list, just not with you. I hate to say it like that.
None taken.
Just because I feel like I'd be shocked if our list didn't have some of the same on it. Although it would be very funny for us to have the most rewatchable list and talk about things like Surviving the Game and Ghost in the Darkness, and people are just like, "What the fuck is this list?"
I don't think it'll be as much overlap as you think. I've seen Ghost in the Darkness maybe 4 or 5 times.
I find that's shocking because I definitely only watched your copy and I haven't seen it since like high school, but it was definitely one of those like, there's nothing else to do in this stupid town. I guess I'll watch this.
You probably hid my copy when I moved away. That's
You left
why.
a lot of movies when you moved away.
Ah, okay, left them.
Yeah.
Rewatchable. What was the 3-way tie?
I don't know.
I still get a vote, you said. So there we go.
Well, yeah, you have to actually show up
I'm
though.
gonna tie break. Oh. You want me to open Twitch? Do you think I can handle that?
I have faith
I can't
in
handle
you.
the Twitch.
It's down to a 2-way tie.
Rewatchable.
Buddy Cops has fallen behind. Tarantino and war movies get no love. Never mind, it's back to a 3-way tie.
Oh man, because I said I didn't want to do buddy cop movies. Buddy cop movies rewatchable, and what's the other one? Shocking endings.
Twist endings.
Twist endings.
Twist or shocking, like whatever, like an ending that made you like. If anybody is out there and is watching this and enjoying it, hopefully you all are, feel free to hit that follow button if you haven't already. And if you are subscribed on Amazon Prime, keep in mind that you do have the ability to subscribe to any person you want on Twitch for absolutely free. You can spend that here if you want, or you can spend it on any other content creator. Just make sure that you are, in fact, using it. I know we've got Duchess of Destruction and Cleaning Agent both in chat, both of which have are streamers on YouTube, on Twitch, sorry. So you don't have to use it here, but make sure that you are, in fact, using it. How do you feel about our top 5 list now that we've gone over? Is there anything that you're just like, oh man, we totally missed that or whatnot? The audience has thrown out a couple of suggestions. I am talking to you. I am in love with the chat, hanging around and throwing options out there. But no, you're the only one that can actually respond in real time.
There is that.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel good about the list. I do feel like there is a lot of good movies. There's a lot of Disney's I could rewatch. You mentioned movies you hadn't seen in a long time. I have not seen Pinocchio. I have not seen Sleeping Beauty. I mentioned rewatching bits of that, but I haven't seen Pinocchio in probably 30 years, I would guess. Yeah, some of these movies, I don't know if my kids have seen it all. I know my girls went through to make sure, and they've done, I think, the entire list now. They were working their way through it last summer. And so they watched a bunch that I didn't get in on.
Yep.
I don't know if I've ever seen Treasure Planet. And I think Encanto is maybe the newest one I've seen. But I saw enough of the other ones to know I was right in my top 5. So.
Fair.
I've seen Lilo and Stitch only in bits and pieces. That's the one I can't get through.
Okay. And, that one is beloved by a certain generation. I don't have the same love for it, but I definitely enjoy it more than your inability to get through it. So,
I don't even hate it. I've never sat down and watched the whole thing without, like you said, falling asleep or getting distracted and ended up doing something else. So I've seen bits and pieces, and probably all the bits and pieces add up to whatever the runtime is.
Sure.
But I don't think it's one I've ever gotten all the way through, start to finish. Tarzan's another one we didn't talk about at all, but the animation's really solid. Phil Collins' song's really solid, and lots of fun, lots of rewatchable. Probably the most likable thing Rosie O'Donnell's ever done. Yeah, that's
League
another one my kids really enjoyed. All right, League of Their Own. There's one I'd rewatch actually too. Yeah.
Cleaning Agent has a great idea. The top 5 movies for the year you were born, because there could literally not be overlap on that.
I am gonna slaughter you.
Yeah, you really are.
I'm gonna.
I've got like Blade Runner and E.T., and both of those are like, okay, they're fine. I think
frigging A New Hope, dude.
Is because Raiders is the year before I was born. Because otherwise I'd be like, yeah, we're good. I can talk about that one for a while. Oh, Maybeth is in the chat. People love
I
Stitch
knew
the
she
character,
would
but
be.
not necessarily the movie. How you
What's
doing,
that?
Maybeth?
What? What's she saying?
People love Stitch as a character more than they like her as
Ah,
more than they like the movie itself, which is fire because I know at least 3 people in my life who are obsessed with Stitch.
which one's the alien? I thought Lilo was the alien.
I think Lila's a little
Stitch
girl.
is the alien?
I believe so.
Well, I never seen it, so what should I shut up?
Well, that's why you've never made it
Yes.
through the movie. You don't even know who's who.
The little blue character is very, very famous. Like I was just traveling, and everywhere I went, you could have bought a Stitch doll,
Yeah.
not a Lilo doll. But yeah, it's kind of everywhere.
So I will. So they've got a couple people in chat right now who like Cleaning Agent, Duchess. I saw Zero Cool in there for a second. I am doing this show every Thursday night, but I've got Run 7 joining me every other week. My brother joining me once a month. So I've got one Thursday a month, which I haven't quite figured out what to do with yet. So if any of you want to join me, I know Cleaning Agent's already been on the show, and I greatly appreciate that. Maybe I'll come up with some sort of a segment where we can just discuss like that person's top 5 movies, just like in general, like movies that made them, movies they really love, whatever it is we want to talk about. But if that interests you and you want to be on the show at some point, it'll be like one a month kind of a thing. Let me know. I know, Duchess, you just joined the Discord, so we can definitely discuss that later on. You're saying, ooh, pick me. Hopefully, get a couple people do that. That would be a really fun way to have sort of like an interview style show once a month. Just something different.
Nice.
All right.
So is trivia an option for one of those nights, or is that not a thing?
Well, as I was saying, great segue. I'm going to be doing trivia sort of sprinkled out throughout each episode, and I'll just do the whole spiel because there's a bunch of people here now again. Essentially, every week during the movie show, which is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays, I will have multiple questions through the audience sort of sprinkled randomly throughout the show. If you're the first person to put the right answer in chat, I will give you 5 points. If you're the second person to give the right answer, I'll give you 2 points. If you are subscribed on Twitch, I will count those points going forward. And then in October, when I do my anniversary bash, because it is not only my birthday, but also the 2nd year anniversary of my YouTube channel, my 1st year anniversary of my Twitch channel, I will actually do a giveaway with cash prizes for the people who are the top places on that leaderboard. Right now, it's looking like it'll probably be $100 for first, $50 for second, and $25 for third. But you have to be subscribed in order to have your points count. So, and I might even get like a Patreon so people can subscribe that don't use Twitch. That's fine too. But for right now, it's just on Twitch. So, we've done a couple of questions already. We're going to stay with an animated theme, although this one isn't well, I guess it is a Disney, but it's more of a Pixar. In the chat, respond, Jonathan, not you. What is the name of the little boy in Toy Story who owns Woody and Buzz? First 2 answers get points.
Oh my goodness. You're just giving away your money now. I thought we were going with the evil neighbor. That's not even that hard.
Kevin and Cleaning Agent, well done. I got a couple of Kevins. I need to write down the exact numbers. 3693. 5 and...
It's written on his boot. We're supposed to be impressed.
Shut up, Jonathan.
You got a visual cue.
All right, we'll do 1 or 2 more of those before we get through the end. Do you want me to go harder? I've got way harder.
Book?
I would bet there's people in the audience who don't know the answer, actually. Not that that's one of the questions, but sure.
All right.
Cleaning Agent just bragging now, knowing the neighbor as well. Who's the kid down the street, Cleaning Agent? Come on. How well do you know your extended lore?
Oh, we're talking about a fun Easter egg. No, I can't remember it.
That's how obscure it is.
That's how obscure it is.
Oh, the poll has ended. Looks like... Wait. What?
Was it time limited or?
It was a 10-minute poll.
Okay.
With twist endings taking the win with 3 votes. 43%.
Oh boy.
All right, so Jonathan, we've got 1 month to come up with our top 5 twist ending movies. Now, that could be a shocking ending. That could be a twist ending, whatever it wants to be. I think this is going to be... Oh, man, we're going to have like a banner or something that says like spoilers at the bottom of it because this could get rough.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be painful. There's going to be movies I haven't seen that I'm going to be like, what?
Well, you're only one of two people. So at worst case, I'm
That's
going to ruin
true.
5 movies for you. And I can almost guarantee you've seen 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah, that's fair. All right.
Now, okay, now curious, you don't have to
Mm.
go by this, but just out of curiosity,
Mhm.
what would be your criteria for something like that? Would it be like ones that blew you away? Would it be ones that like, because some twist endings ruin the movie. Like once you've seen the twist ending, you're like, the movie's kind of boring after that. Some of them make the movie a
Right.
little bit better.
Yep.
Or is it just like the wow factor of it? What?
The penultimate twist movie ending makes you want to start the movie over again and rewatch it.
Doesn't penultimate
like-
mean the second last?
Oh, frick you. The most key thing, that's what you're looking for. If it does that, if you're like, I didn't see this movie, I need to rewatch it. At the end of the movie, that's your reaction, then it's a twist ending.
I like it.
So I think those
Without
yeah.
saying it, without saying what it is, do you have one that just
Mm-hmm.
like instantly popped into your brain?
I have several. I think Mrs. Doubtfire. is
No,
one I
don't
mind
say what they
spoiling.
are.
I'm just
Wait,
saying.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Like, it was a guy the whole time, is all I'm saying.
We don't need you here anymore. We're done.
I thought so.
Yeah, Double O, there's definitely going to be spoilers on that episode. But that's a month away, so you got some time to
That's right.
watch some of your favorite ones. Oh, man,
Watch
that's going to be
all
such
of
a
the
good one.
movies with a twist ending right now.
Man, I'm seriously, I'm going to have a running list because there's so many on that list where I'm just like,
The thing is,
Like, I've read
it's
a
movie
couple
with a
that have
twist
already come to my
ending
mind.
Kind of
What?
takes away the fun of the twist ending.
sorry, what was that? Knowing the
I
ending?
said knowing a movie is a twist ending, like you can't go and find an internet list of like the best 20 twist endings and watch them all, because knowing it's a twist ending ruins the fact that it has a twist ending. You have to be like gobsmacked.
Yeah. There's... Oh, man,
I've
this is
had-
going to be a fun list.
It's a fun list. I've got 3, I think, right now, and I've got one I want to watch that I've never watched.
Yeah, exactly. There was exactly one that came to mind where I'm like,
Mhm.
this one is always on the list, so I already know what the ending is, but I still want to get there and just be like, yep, they were
Yeah.
right.
Well, and I try to stay away from spoilers, so there's a few that's like, okay, I want to watch that one now, but I don't know which one of those weird sci-fi twist ending ones it is that I never watched.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, that'll be a little tricky. Yeah, that's for me, that is, if a movie makes you, I think I've done that once, and that movie will be on the list, I think. And I felt like doing it only a handful of other times where it's like, oh, I need to rewatch the whole thing.
Now, specifically, are we doing twist endings, or can it be like a
Twist, shock, surprise.
shocking surprise? Okay, so if the ending just gets you, like, oh, that'll be on the
Yeah.
list. That counts. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. If it all of a sudden doesn't, yeah, anything that kind of catches you off guard, I think.
Green Tuckin, I've never seen Old Boy. I know that there's an original version. I know there's a newer version. I know that they're supposed to be good. That one of them's actually on my movie poster. Like, I need to watch it, but I've never gotten around to it. So that might be one that I have to watch in the next month just to see what you're talking about.
This is one of the things I don't enjoy about the streaming era, is finding certain movies.
Yeah.
Like, we used to have like a 4-story art DVD rental place, art and VHS, or DVD and VHS rental place in the middle of the city.
4
And,
stories?
yes.
In Winnipeg, I'm assuming? Because that's definitely...
Yes.
Okay.
It was epic.
Wow.
So we'd cruise down there. I only got there a few times just because the location didn't really work for me. But you could find anything. And so you'd hear about some old, 70s, like, made in Japan, Japanese director, and you could find it there. And
Sure.
yeah, it was brilliant. But now it's like, yeah, okay, but Paramount Plus doesn't have it. And Netflix, oh my goodness.
And
They
honestly,
probably have it, and they won't show it to me. They'll just show me new TV shows.
that's
I don't wanna
why
watch.
I still collect physical media. Not nearly as much as I
Uh-huh.
used to, but because like there are times when I want to watch something and it's just nowhere to be found, and it's like, you know
Oh, yeah.
what? if I can rent this on YouTube for $5 or I can own it for $7, I'm gonna own it for $7.
I'm with you, 100%. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Josh Brolin and Elizabeth Olsen is it? It's the last movie I remember that I didn't see the ending coming.
Did he say the movie or did he? Not
Yeah,
say it?
Old Boy, 2013 version
right.
of Old Boy.
Sorry.
Because I believe there's an older version that's, I want to say Korean. That's supposed to be like an absolute classic, and then they remade it. And Green Tuck, and you might be the first person who said good things about the remake. So there's that. I have my own movie server set up like a Netflix app. What?
Nice.
I am curious to know more about that. Anyway, sir, it is 11 o'clock. I got to work in the morning. We have done our top
time to
5
go.
list. If you guys enjoyed this, hit that follow button so you can know when we go live in the future. Or please hit !movies. Head over to that YouTube channel. That is my brand new one that I'm just started working on. I don't know where I just typed that, but it wasn't in the right place. Hit subscribe over there. We just hit 50 subscribers literally just as we were about to go live. So obviously brand new channel. So anybody that can hit that subscribe button over there, it would mean a ton to me. I'd really appreciate it. Other than that, Jonathan, thank you so much for joining me. And we will see you in a month from now for the top 5 shocking twist ending movies. I'll have a better title for it than that. You have a great night.
Workshop it.
Give my love to your
Thank
family.
you.
And we'll see you next time.
All right. Have a great night. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right. Stop recording. Stop the virtual camera. And thank you all for joining me. I am just going to raid somebody who is live at the moment. Yeah, Dorky and Ambassador Al. So, wow. Dorky's got a nice little audience right now. We'll send you over to Dorky. You guys have a great day. Send him my love. And we'll catch you next time. Cheers, everybody. Bye. Oh, I didn't hit the raid button. It'll be a second. White noise. You're welcome for the stream, Cleanie Agent. All right. Bye.